My wife handed me divorce papers at my retirement party. Then 4-3 calls prove they underestimated me. If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. Lucas Merritt raised his champagne glass as thunderous applause echoed through the banquet hall of the Crestmont Hotel. After 40 years at Pacific Horizon Bank, he was finally retiring. The moment should have felt triumphant. Instead, there was a gnawing unease, especially from the way his family sat at the front table. Too perfect, too rehearsed. To Lucas, the division head boomed. The man whose steady leadership carried us through 4 recessions, multiple crashes, and more budget meetings than any soul should endure. Laughter. Applause. Lucas smiled politely, but his mind was elsewhere. For the past month, his wife Elaine had been oddly affectionate. Coffee in bed, sudden weekend getaway ideas, talks of beach houses and cruise ships. Their adult kids, Rebecca and Chase, who rarely called, suddenly wanted family dinners and long chats about the good old days. Something smelled like bullshit. When the speech ended, Lucas returned to the family's table. Elaine, still striking at 60, with platinum hair and eyes as cold as the martini she sipped, placed her hand on his wrist. Rebecca, 38, a ruthless corporate litigator who wore ambition like perfume, glanced at her younger brother Chase, 35, a man who had his father's broad shoulders but none of his integrity. "Congrats, Dad," Chase said, voice low but laced with tension. "We've got a little something for you." Elaine smiled. "A gift for your next chapter." She opened her designer handbag and pulled out a thick envelope. With nails like polished knives, she slid toward him. Lucas already knew. "What's this?" he asked, even though the pit in his stomach already gave him the answer. "Go ahead. Open it," Rebecca said, subtly angling her phone to film his reaction. Inside the envelope were divorce papers, transfer of asset forms, pension disbursement documents, all carefully organized and requiring only one signature. His. "We wanted to keep this simple," Elaine said, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. "Sign, and you can enjoy your freedom. We'll take care of the rest." "You get nothing," Chase added with a smug grin. "But hey, enjoy retirement." Rebecca leaned forward. "Congrats on 40 years of wasting your life." Lucas stared down at the documents. No anger, no visible reaction. But inside, a quiet detonation had just gone off. For 4 decades, Lucas had played the dutiful banker, mild on the surface, polite to a fault. What they didn't know, what no one knew, was that he had lived a second life. One filled with shell companies, offshore accounts, and properties stashed under layers of obfuscation. His skills in cybersecurity and intelligence, developed during his military years, had never truly faded. They thought they knew him, but they didn't know shit. He slowly reached into his blazer pocket and pulled out a Mont Blanc pen. Ironically, a gift from Elaine for their 25th anniversary. Uncapped it and signed every form. Then he looked up. "Understood." Rebecca smirked. Elaine nodded with satisfaction. Chase was already mentally spending the money. Lucas stood, straightened his suit jacket, and said evenly, "I'll clear my office by morning." "That would be best," Elaine murmured, already swiping through vacation rentals on her phone. What none of them realized, not yet, was that Lucas had just agreed to let them dig their own graves. The real gift was already in motion. 3 days later, their phones wouldn't stop ringing. First it was Elaine. All the shared bank accounts she used like her personal treasure chest, drained to the last cent. Next was Rebecca. The family attorney sounded like he was about to choke on his own tongue. "It's happening earlier than we planned," he stammered. "Everything's gone." Meanwhile, Lucas watched it all unfold from across the city, sipping coffee in a quiet apartment. One of 7 properties registered under shell companies. His plan, codenamed Checkmate, was live across 3 monitors. He watched Elaine panic, trying to log into the accounts. Chase dialing Lucas' old co-workers, only to find his father's profile had vanished from the company database. As if he never existed. Rebecca burned through her legal contacts, but each attempt to trace Lucas hit an impenetrable wall of firewalls and encrypted dead ends. "He can't just disappear," Elaine screamed at Bernard. The same Bernard she once called just a friend. The same Bernard she had an affair with behind Lucas' back. Bernard's face went pale as he looked at a new alert on his phone. "What is it?" "Lucas withdrew $10,000 from 20 different bank branches yesterday," he whispered. $200,000 in clean, untraceable cash. "That's impossible," Elaine scoffed. "He doesn't have the guts." "Oh, but he did." Then Bernard's phone buzzed again. His eyes widened. "What now?" Elaine snapped. "I've been flagged for an audit by the SEC," he muttered. Somebody submitted a file about client account irregularities. Lucas calmly pressed send again. This time, an email to Chase's employer detailing the years of embezzlement and gambling debts he'd covered with company money. Documents, logs, transfers, all ready. As for Rebecca, Lucas saved the best for last. She was always the most cunning, the coldest. She deserved a personal encore. He uploaded files to the State Bar Association, proof that she had intentionally suppressed exculpatory evidence in 3 major criminal trials just to boost her win rate. Within 48 hours, Chase was fired under investigation. Rebecca was summoned to an emergency disciplinary hearing. Bernard's office was raided by federal agents. Elaine discovered the family home had a second mortgage she never knew about, and the payments were already 3 months overdue. They gathered at Elaine's house, panicked and exhausted. For 3 calls in just 2 days, banks, lawyers, authorities, even old colleagues. A perfect storm. "This is Lucas," Rebecca muttered, pacing like a caged animal. "He's been planning this for years." "Bullshit," Elaine snapped. "He doesn't have the brains or the guts." Then explain why everything's collapsing at once. Chase shouted, bags under his eyes. And then the doorbell rang. A courier. A white envelope. Addressed simply, to the Merritt family. Inside, a handwritten note in Lucas' neat, deliberate pen. "Chess has always been about anticipating your opponent's next move. You've been playing checkers your whole lives. The game has just begun. Ed." Taped beneath the note, a photo of Elaine and Bernard, locked in an intimate embrace. Dated exactly 15 years ago, the night of Lucas and Elaine's silver anniversary. Out of options and drowning in chaos, Elaine did the unthinkable. She reached out to the only person who might know where Lucas was. His younger brother, Daniel Merritt. Unlike Lucas, Daniel had built his empire with calloused hands, a construction magnate with military contracts and a history in Army intelligence. The kind of man you didn't cross twice. Elaine showed up at his office unannounced. Daniel, now 60, stood tall and sharp-eyed, a man who commanded respect without saying a word. "Please," Elaine began, her voice trembling. "Lucas is gone. Our accounts are frozen. Our names are being dragged through the mud. I just need to talk to him." Daniel didn't even blink. "And now you care?" he said, arms crossed. "Now that your house of cards is collapsing?" Elaine tried to hold his gaze. "You don't understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly," Daniel interrupted, his tone cutting. "You know why Lucas and I stopped speaking 15 years ago?" Elaine stayed silent. "Because he came to me with your messages. The ones you sent to Bernard." She flinched. "I told him to leave you, to burn it all down and start fresh." Daniel leaned across the desk. "But my brother? He said he loved you. That maybe deep down you'd choose him." He sat back, disgusted. He waited, Elaine. 15 years. Not out of weakness, but out of calculation. While you were scheming, he was building, planning, preparing. Not for revenge, for justice. Elaine's voice cracked. "You knew. Lucas knew. I knew. Hell, even Bernard probably forgot how much he confessed over wine. But Lucas, he waited until every piece was in place. And now, you've finally shown your hand." He stood, signaling the conversation was over. "You never knew who you were married to. The game was over. Checkmate." Meanwhile, Bernard Holloway was sinking fast. Clients were abandoning him as investigators began uncovering a decade's worth of fraud. And when he finally stumbled back into his luxury condo late one night, there was Lucas, already sitting on his couch, calm as a winter storm. "How the hell did you get in here?" Bernard gasped. "Same way I got into your emails, your accounts, and those charming little offshore holdings in the Caymans," Lucas replied. "Next time, don't use Elaine's birthday as your password." Bernard lunged for his phone, but Lucas was faster, surprisingly fast for a man his age. "See, I'm not here to hurt you. That would be too easy." Bernard collapsed onto the couch, pale and trembling. "What do you want?" Lucas leaned forward. "You've been stealing from clients for years. I've documented every penny. There's a timer. If I don't reset it every 24 hours, that evidence gets delivered to the feds." "You're bluffing," Bernard whispered. Lucas smiled and hit play on a voice recording. Bernard and Elaine drunkenly discussing how to liquidate Lucas's accounts post-divorce. "I've been recording for 15 years, Lucas said, rising. "Every whisper, every lie, every betrayal. I don't want your money. I want you to implode publicly." And he left. The next week, as Lucas predicted, Bernard's mind finally snapped. He was found unconscious in his condo after what officials referred to only as a medical emergency. In the aftermath, he confessed everything. and dragged Elaine down with him. Preston tried to flee the country. His passport had been flagged. He never made it out. Natalie, disbarred and radioactive, was blacklisted from every firm in the city. Then came Lucas's final move. On the 1-month anniversary of the retirement ambush, he sent formal invitations to his ex-family. They thought it was a private mediation. Instead, they walked straight into a trap. A luxury hotel conference room swarming with reporters and federal agents. As cameras flashed, hotel security, hired by Lucas, sealed the exits. A projector hummed to life, displaying every shred of evidence Lucas had spent 15 years compiling. Financial records, wire transfers, recordings, photos, timelines, phone transcripts, a full expose on the rotting core of the Merritt family. Lucas didn't show, but his final message played for all to hear. At my retirement dinner, my wife handed me divorce papers. My children laughed and told me I was getting nothing. I signed, but while they planned to erase me, I was already 10 steps ahead. 43 calls later, they understood. I wasn't just their victim. I was their reckoning. No footprints left behind. 6 months later, Lucas Merritt sipped an ice-cold cocktail under a white umbrella on a private beach in Bali. Waves lapped at the shore. His tablet screen glowed with the latest headlines from back home. Elaine had been indicted on multiple fraud charges. Preston took a plea deal, 5 years. Natalie avoided prison but was permanently disbarred. She was now working as a hostess at a mid-tier seafood chain. Bernard Holloway, after his incident, turned state's evidence and helped take them all down for a reduced sentence. Lucas's phone buzzed, a secure line. "They're getting sentenced next week," said Raymond, his brother. "You coming back?" Lucas watched the sun sink toward the horizon. "No," he said simply. "They've had enough of my life already." "Any regrets?" Lucas was quiet for a moment. Just one, that it took me this long to see them for who they really were. He ended the call, then deleted the final script, a surveillance program that had been quietly tracking every move his ex-family made. It was done. No revenge left to serve. No files left to send. The game was over. Checkmate. Lucas stood up from his chair and walked barefoot down the shoreline. The sand swallowed his footsteps. The tide washed them away. He didn't look back.